Hi, my name's Tarek, and in this video I'm going to just say a few words about the Ayurvedic diet. So Ayurvedic books are generally encumbered with lists of foods one should be eating for one's so-called doshic type. If you're a Vata type, you eat some kind of food. If you're a Pitta type, you avoid another kind of food, and so on. But frankly, I've never really found this approach to be particularly useful. Take, for example, the humble apple. As we know, apples can cause a lot of gas and sometimes even bloating. This is caused by the high levels of fructose and fiber, which is difficult to break down. So the body relies on the bacteria in the large intestine to do the work. And they are the ones that actually produce the gas. Now, apples are listed as a food to avoid for high Vata types because the waste product of Vata is already gas. And apples supposedly aggravate that. But apples also contain malic acid, which is very beneficial. And as the proverb goes, it helps to keep the doctor away. So it also helps to brighten the skin and reduce inflammation and aid in digestion. So do we really want to avoid apples? My takeaway advice generally with Ayurvedic food lists is to avoid eating foods that aggravate you in very high amounts, rather than avoid them completely. Too much of any good thing ends up being a bad thing, right? Never a truer word in all aspects of life, particularly in relation to food. However, if your digestion is really strong, I do not advocate elimination purely on the basis of doshic effects. The body needs a wide variety of nutrients, and a strong digestive fire will help keep your doshas in balance as long as you maintain balance and moderation overall. Here's some general advice with regard to food. Number one, avoid too much ultra-processed food. You may be a meat lover trying to go vegan for ethical reasons, and I totally get that. However, ultra-processed lab-produced fake meat is really hard to digest and may sit like a lead weight in your stomach for a long time before your body knows what to do with it. Check the label for other ultra-processed foods that contain preservatives, colorants, emulsifiers, and other chemical nasties. Eat real food and ideally prepare it yourself. Number two, avoid seed oils. So-called vegetable oils were heralded as the great discovery since white bread because polyunsaturated fats supposedly helped to lower cholesterol, but this cannot be further from the truth. Seed oils are high in omega-6, also known as linoleic acid. However, and we do need omega-6, however, we are getting about 10 times the amount we need for health. Sunflower oil, rapeseed oil, canola oil are all very inflammatory and horribly ubiquitous. They are found in virtually every processed food and all restaurant food because it is cheap to use them. Ayurvedic recommendations are to use ghee, also known as clarified butter, in your cooking. You can also use coconut oil or good quality olive oil from a reliable brand. Take note, however, that a lot of the cheaper brands of olive oil are adulterated with seed oils, and so it's quite hard to tell the difference, so be mindful of that. Avoid high fructose corn syrup and fake sweeteners like aspartame. High fructose corn syrup is sweeter than cane sugar, but very difficult for your body to break down. Your liver has to metabolize it, and it is one of the biggest contributors to the obesity epidemic. There are numerous studies that link aspartame with cancer. At best, aspartame causes dysbiosis and has zero impact on reducing obesity and the onset of diabetes. If you want sweet, eat natural sweets like fruit, cane sugar, honey, and maple syrup. Your body will be able to metabolize these foods a lot better. Number four, avoid wheat. Back in the days of Charaka, the great Ayurvedic sage, wheat was considered to be nourishing and grounding. But modern wheat is a chemically hybridized version of what we used to eat. In Latin, modern wheat is known as Triticum vulgare. In pasta they use triticum durum and compactum. So I recommend you revert to ancient wheats like spelt and kamut, which are easier to digest, contain less gluten, and produce less mucus. Eat seasonally. Health practitioners generally recommend eating whole grains, nuts, seeds, fruit, vegetables, and pulses. But eating fresh food seasonally is best. Fruits were originally only eaten during harvest because they could not be stored. Now we can eat them any time of the year we want, and it's a wonderful thing to some extent, but not necessarily how nature intended. Eat timely. I recommend you eat during daylight hours and stop eating at least 4 hours before going to bed. That means around 7 if you go to bed around 11 o'clock. If you eat late, the food ends up sitting in your stomach and fermenting, which causes digestive chaos, constipation, and poor sleep. Have your main meal at lunchtime. This is a challenge for many, I know, because the evening meal is also a social meal, and so it's time with the family. But it is better for your health. Lunch like a royal and dine like a pauper. Your body will thank you for it. And lastly, practice gratitude every day for all the blessings in your life. A happy soul will keep your immunity strong and help you overcome even the worst dietary insults.